Hi everyone, welcome to Gentle Yin Yoga. Please make sure you have a couple of pillows, if you have a couple of yoga blocks, a strap, and a blanket or beach towel. I'd like to invite you to start lying down on your back, and you can decide in this position of corpse pose, basically beginning in Shavasana, if you'd like to splay out your limbs on the floor or place a blanket or pillow underneath the backs of your knees. If you have any tightness in your lower back, that can feel more comfortable. Or you could also opt to bend your knees and step your feet onto the ground. So find a comfortable resting position. You may need a moment to just gently shake your head and loosen up your shoulders, rolling them out on the floor. Maybe even circling out your feet, pointing and flexing your toes. Just allowing a few breaths here to arrive in stillness. So as we have been doing in the past few weeks, each week we're highlighting one of the 8 limbs of yoga or a component of the 8 limbs of yoga. So we're now up to the 5th limb, which is Pratyahara. Here's what the Yoga Sutras has to say about it. Withdrawing the senses, mind, and consciousness from contact with external objects, and then drawing them inwards towards the seer is Pratyahara. In Meditations from the Mat, it says, in the last 4 limbs of yoga, we leave physical technique behind and embrace an entirely internal practice. Pratyahara is the decision to turn inward, to let go of drama. It is the choice to release our grip on the external world and all our attempts to control it, in order to focus our minds entirely on the internal. In pranayama, which was last week, we stood astride 2 worlds, breathing with one foot firmly planted in physical sensation and technique, and the other planted in the internal world of concentration and meditation. Pratyahara is the moment when the intrepid explorers leave their boats on the shore and head inland. For today, simply bring this practice into focus. Begin with your asana practice, the physical postures, and notice the edge here. At what point do you draw your boat onto the shore and head inland? What reservations might you have about doing this? What resistance might you have to letting go of the past and the future? Then observe this process of turning inward as it is played out in your daily interactions. Pay attention to where you go, where your attention is placed, as you honor your commitments to your work, your relationships, yourself. This is not meant to be hard work. Approach Pratyahara as you would any other posture, steady and relaxed, breath flowing freely. So we begin in this posture called corpse pose or Shavasana, which is really the essence of complete surrender. It's letting go of doing, letting go of action, and just being in the state of being. I'd like to take you through a short body scan as written by one of my favorite mindfulness teachers, Pema Chodron, in her book, How to Meditate, which is the book we're reading for our spring book club. So as you lie here, letting your body now be still, you might feel comfortable closing your eyes or keeping them open with a soft, steady gaze at something. Start going through your body in your mind's eye. This is a way to check in and really being present, bringing embodied presence into your practice. Notice the soles of your feet. Feel the back of your ankles. You're simply observing any sensations there. Your calves, the back of your knees. Feel what might be at the back of your thighs, your buttocks, your lower back, middle back, upper back and shoulders. Observe your arms, your armpits, the back of the upper arms, elbows, back of the lower arms, the back of the hands, the palms of your hands. Notice any feeling at the back of the fingers, the tips of your fingers, the fronts of your hands, front of your lower arms, front of your upper arms. What do you feel in your shoulders? At the back of your neck? At the back of your head? Bring your inward gaze to the back of your ears, the top of your head. Noticing your forehead, eyes, nose, your cheeks, your mouth, your lips, your tongue, your teeth. Observe your chin, your throat, your chest. Going down to your lowest ribs, feel into your solar plexus, your stomach, your genitals, front of your thighs, down to your knees, down to your shins, top of your feet, and the top of your toes. Having done all that, see if you can now feel some sense of your whole body, lying, relaxed, or maybe not so relaxed, but lying here in the present moment. So before we can withdraw our attention from external stimuli, we take it in 2 steps, right? We zoom our focus a little bit closer, beginning with a physical layer, your body. So now let's go a little bit deeper into that connection between body and what's outside through your breath. Just feeling into how you're breathing here as you lie still. Notice if you begin to change the way that you're breathing by paying attention to your breath. For now, just let go of doing. Allow your breath to flow however it's flowing. As we know that your breath pattern is an indicator of what's happening in your heart space, your emotions, as well as your mental space. So with non-judgmental curiosity, can you tune in? What is your breath revealing to you about your inner states of being? And still lying here in Shavasana, I invite you to begin to raise one hand to rest at your heart energy center that's just below your sternum at the middle of your chest. Perhaps you feel your own inner drum beat, your pulse. And then set another hand at your lower abdomen, just below your belly button. Notice what you might feel there. As you lie here in your own aliveness, being present with whatever is alive in you right now. Perhaps set your intention or sankalpa for your practice of yoga tonight. It might be a personal prayer, something that you want to dedicate your efforts to in some area of your life, or for another being that you care about. Or maybe it's a quality that you'll choose to embody to your physical movements into how you approach your breath and focus. Now, framing your practice through that lens, your intention. Let's begin to deepen your breath. Empty this breath completely. And then to your nose, inhale slowly for 4, 3, 2, 1. Holding your breath for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale to your lips 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it out for 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale through the nose 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold your breath in 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale through the lips 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it out 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, inhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 4, 3, 2, 1. And let it go. Let's begin to slow the breath down equally in and out. And if it's available to you with the mouth closed so that you're just breathing both in and out through your nose, a way of warming up your internal body. See if you might be able to create a gentle whispering sound as you do this by softly narrowing the back of your throat. So that by listening to this subtle, smooth whisper of your own breath, it's yet another anchor for your mind to be attentive to what's here right now. So on your own, sustaining your breath into your belly, into the back body, into your rib cage, to your chest, and sustaining your breath out to your nose, no longer holding the breath, just a smooth transition in and out. Setting your attention on your breathing, let's begin to move the body here. Gently sliding your left leg forward on the ground, bend your right knee into your chest. And you can catch hold of your right thigh or your right shin with your hands. Let your 2 shoulders land evenly on the ground as you lengthen your neck. And then just hug your right thigh even closer to the right side of your abdomen each time you breathe out. Let's bring some movement into your right foot, slowly circling it in one direction. And then switch direction, slow movements, just like your breath. Think of it as a mini vinyasa flow, inhaling and exhaling. Begin to point your right toes and then flex your right foot a few more times. And then from here, set your right leg straight on the ground. Simply switch, bending your left knee into your chest, catching hold of your left thigh or your left shin. Bring your left thigh towards the left side of your abdomen. Feel again your 2 shoulders evenly grounded as you lengthen the back and front of your neck. Tuning into the sound of your breath, begin to circle your left foot. And then switch direction. And then pointing your left toes, flexing your left foot to the cycles of your breath. That's what happens when the sirens drive by. Thank you, Louie. And let's bring both bent knees into your chest. Catching hold of your knees, you might even be able to cross your forearms in front of them. Maybe catch hold of your wrists, forearms, or elbows. And at the same time that you're grounding your shoulders here, can you also make your tailbone heavy on the ground? So you're not lifting your glutes off the floor, but you're pressing them downward. And then add slightly tucking your chin towards your chest as though you're trying to see your navel. So here, as we take a few breaths, we're a bit more actively ironing out the back of your spine against the floor. Try switching the cross of your arms if you're holding them in front of your knees. Just 3 more breaths here. And you accentuate drawing your belly in towards your spine as you breathe out, helping to lengthen the back of your spine against the floor. Right, now let's catch hold of your bent knees. Inhale, separate your knees wide apart. Exhale, circle them back together. Inhale apart. Exhale together. One more time in this direction. Gently lubricating your hip joints. Switch direction. Inhale, knees apart. Exhale, the knees together. And at the same time, massaging your lower back onto the ground. We did have a request today for some lengthening and opening of the lower back. So we begin with these movements to get it ready. Now let's set the 2 feet on the ground. Turn out your right thigh and then cross your right ankle on top of your left thigh into a figure 4 shape. Flexing your right foot to help stabilize your right knee. And just keep your left foot on the ground for now. Take your right palm and place it at the top, which is close to the hip crease of your inner right thigh. And as you keep your 2 shoulders even on the floor, 2 backs of your hips even on the floor, gently press the top of your right inner thigh away from you. So you're just helping to splay open your right thigh bone at the hip. Keeping your right toes curling back towards your right knee. Tune into your breath, inhaling and exhaling through your nose. So as your breath creates this very soft whisper, like the sound of peaceful ocean waves rising and falling. Bring a sense of riding the waves of your breath with your attention. Now, keeping this figure 4 shape of your legs, take your right hand between your thighs, and with 2 hands catch hold of your left thigh so that you lift your left foot off the ground and start to bring your left thigh closer to your belly. Using your right forearm or elbow, you can continue to nudge your inner right thigh to splay open. You might even opt to interlace your fingers in front of your left shin. And then again, keeping your shoulders on the ground. So in this hip opening pose, thread the needle. Let's take another 5 slow, even breaths. Now keep this figure four shape in your legs. We're going to set the left foot down on the floor again, but let it land just close to the left edge of your mat. And then as you open your right arm wide on the floor, use your right shoulder like a root, really keeping it on the ground as you begin to drop your left thigh to splay open to the left. So it completely falls to the earth, allowing the sole of your right foot to land standing on the ground so that your right shin is vertically upright, right knee is pointing towards the sky. And then from here, using your left palm, place it again on the top inner right side of your right thigh, that same spot you pressed with your right palm earlier, and very softly begin to press into your inner right thigh. Now, it might not take much force here to feel sensation in your lower back or your outer right hip. Feel into your two shoulders, let them relax away from your neck, down onto the ground. You might even choose to turn your gaze past your right shoulder, giving the left side of your neck a stretch. Feel into where your breath is expanding as you breathe in. You might feel it more at your chest, maybe more at your belly. Can you invite your breath to expand into your belly, into your lower back, into your side ribs, your mid back, and all the way to the top of your chest where your collarbones meet, as well as your upper back. Imagine as though you could breathe into all of your torso, taking 5 more breaths in. So your right sole is planted on the floor. Your left hand is gently pressing your inner right thigh away from your torso. And this might not be any visible movement. Perhaps it's more of a micro movement. Let's finish one more cycle of breath on this side. Now, as you roll onto your back again, slide your thighs even closer together. In fact, as close together as possible, lifting both of your feet. And now your right leg is still crossed on top. Let your hands either catch hold of your outer feet. You may want to flex them gently to support any tenderness in your knees. Or your hands catch hold of your outer shins. Or they catch hold of the backs of your thighs. Now leaving your pelvis and shoulders on the ground, see if you might be able to splay your feet wider apart as your thighs hug in closer together. Feel your tailbone heavy on the ground as it lengthens towards the front edge of your mat, away from your head. Notice if there's any new sensation that arises in your body here. If you start to feel any discomfort, and you find the point of intensity within the posture that allows you to be with that discomfort without reaching a point of pain. And then with compassion to yourself, breathing into those areas in which you might feel discomfort by visualizing your breath entering any crevices of stiffness, tension, or resistance. As we lie here in supine cow face pose or supta gomukasana, let's gift ourselves another 4 deep breaths. Finishing this exhalation, begin to step your 2 feet on the ground, both knees bent. Separate your feet about as wide as the width of your mat, so wider than your hips distance. And then with your arms perhaps out to the side so they're out of the way of your legs, keep your knees also as wide apart as your feet are here, and drop both of your knees to your right side. Make any adjustments you might need so that your left knee is pointing down the midline of your mat. Like for me, I had to scoot my left foot a little closer to the outside of the left edge of my mat. And then just notice, do you feel anything come up in your body here? While this posture generally aims to open the area of the psoas, which crisscrosses from the front of your left hip crease to your lower back on both sides, you might feel something elsewhere. Now, if you feel like you could use a bit more sensation, a bit more depth in this left side of your psoas, go ahead and pick up your right ankle and again cross it just above your left knee on top of your left thigh so that the natural weight of your right leg encourages the front of your left thigh to lengthen forward. Another variation here, if you'd like to encourage more lengthening up the sides of your torso, is to raise your arms overhead, bending your elbows, catching hold of opposite elbows, and then just resting your arms on the ground overhead as your shoulders rest down away from your neck. Notice if your breath pattern has shifted in any way. Do you detect any gripping in any area of your body? Like in the area of your glutes or your outer hips or your jaw or surrounding your eyes. Notice any way you could further relax into the pose. Deep breath in, emptying your breath. Resting here for 3 more cycles of breath. And then slowly unwind your legs, stepping your 2 feet on the ground, separating your feet a little wider than hips distance again, releasing your arms down by your sides, and just take a moment to drop both knees together to touch so that your feet are slightly pigeon-toed, and rest your 2 palms face down right beneath your frontal hip bones into your pelvic region. And now where your palms are, can you amplify the sensation of breath? As though you could breathe into the front of your pelvis, into your hips. And let it soak into the back of your pelvis and into your sacrum. Let's take 2 rounds of lion's breath next. So from here, inhale deeply, fill up your belly, fill up your lungs. As you exhale through the mouth, open your eyes and mouth wide, sticking out your tongue. You might also cross your eyes. One more like that. Inhale deeply, drink it into the top. Stick out your tongue, open your mouth and eyes wide, maybe crossing your eyes, let it go. Then gather your knees into your chest. Press your tailbone and shoulders onto the earth. Drop your chin slightly towards your sternum. Maybe catch hold of opposite wrists, forearms, or elbows. And flatten your spine against the ground just for 3 breaths here. Feel your belly soften towards your spine with each breath out. Then set your right foot on the floor, bending your right knee. Turn out your left thigh at the hip, flexing your left foot. Cross your left ankle just over your right thigh into a figure 4 shape. And then from here, let your left palm rest on the inner crease of your left hip, right at the top inner side of your left thigh. So as you keep your right foot on the floor, your left palm gently presses away your left thigh. And you counteract that extra weight on the left side by rooting down the back of your right hip, as well as the back of your 2 shoulders. Tuning into the sound of your breathing. About 5 more cycles. Now, keeping the figure 4 shape of your legs and still flexing your left foot, let's take the left hand and thread it between your thighs. Using 2 hands to catch hold of the back of your right thigh, lift your right foot off the ground and begin to bring your right thigh closer to your belly. And all the while, you could splay your left inner thigh open by nudging it with your left forearm or elbow. Shoulders resting on the ground. Gently audible, balanced breathing. And here you might prefer to interlace your fingers in front of your right shin. We're down to 5 last breaths here. And thread the needle. Now, finishing this last exhalation, please set your right foot on the ground again, keeping the same figure 4 shape. Step your right foot closer to the right edge of your mat. Open your left arm wide, lying flat on the floor. Ground your left shoulder, keep it on the floor, and begin to draw your right thigh open to the right so that the sole of your left foot lands stepping on the ground with your left knee pointing upright. Now, taking your right palm, gently press the top inner side of your left thigh, that same area you press with the left hand, away from your torso. Very gentle with that. Shoulders resting down your back, allowing freedom and space in your neck. You might opt to turn your gaze past your left shoulder. Feel the depth of your inhalation. Really arriving at the peak of your inhale before you begin to empty your breath. Following the journey of each new breath, entering, circulating your body, and exiting. Feeling the very bottom of the exhalation. With 5 more breaths to go here. And as you're finishing the last exhalation, keeping your left leg still over the right leg, roll onto your back so your pelvis lands at the midline of your mat again. And then lifting your feet off the floor, hug your thighs even closer together with still the left leg on top. Will your hands catch hold of either your outer feet, outer shins, or the backs of your thighs? Keeping your pelvis and shoulders on the ground, see if you might be able to splay your feet wider apart. Inviting your thighs to More tightly hug your midline. Notice what you're feeling here. Any new areas of your body calling your attention. Shine the light of your awareness into any dark or enclosed spaces. Deepening your breath to flow in those spots. Let's feel into 5 more cycles of breath. In Supta Gomukhasana. Finishing this breath, uncross your legs, step your feet on the ground about your mat's width. Separate your knees just as wide apart as your feet. And then this time, let your knees fall to the left. Align your right knee to trace the midline of your mat. And then just notice, pause here to notice, how is your body responding in this pose? While this posture maybe felt a bit more at the psoas, in here it's the right hip crease, right side of the lower back, you might be feeling something elsewhere. Now, if you'd like to intensify that opening in the right psoas, you can pick up your left ankle and place it on your right thigh, just above your right knee. So again, the natural weight of your leg encourages the front of your right thigh to lengthen forward. And now, for the sake of balance, if you did so on the first side of this pose, you might raise your arms overhead. See if you remember which elbow you caught on top of the other. Perhaps it's the non-default one, so that you're switching sides. And then let your arms rest on the ground, shoulders walking down your back ribs. Feel your breath expand. And hear your breath release, lips closed. Check, are there any areas of gripping? Could any areas of your being use your compassionate attention? Let's take another 4 cycles of deep breaths. And when you finish your exhalation, uncross your legs, set your feet apart on the ground, a little wider than your hips distance. And let your arms move out to the sides, out of the way of your legs. And from here, we're going to gently drop your thighs to the right, breathing in. Exhale, drop your thighs to the left. Inhale to the right. This is a great practice of Pratyahara. Still tuning into your breath. A few more times. Gently windshield wipe your shins side to side. And then the third round, drawing your knees into your chest, pressing your tailbone and shoulders on the floor, slightly dropping your chin towards your chest. Just 3 deep breaths as you exhale. See if you might be able to hug your legs in a little closer as your belly draws in towards your spine. And then from here, begin to rock either side to side a few times, massaging your lower back some more, or rock forward and back a few times, massaging up and down your back, which is more active. So up to you if you're feeling for that. 3 to 5 rounds of rocking in the direction you choose. Inhale, exhale. And finally coming up to sit so that you can grab your strap. You may want to sit on a folded blanket or pillow or the ground. A prop under your pelvis can be helpful if it feels challenging to sit up tall, like your back begins to round. And then extend your left leg forward as I'm mirroring you here. Bring the sole of your right foot to the inside of your left thigh. And then if you're using a strap, you can take the ball of your left foot into the loop or center of that strap, holding the strap with 2 hands. Flex your left foot as you pull the strap. So there's a bit of counter forces here. Draw your shoulders back and down. Lift up to your sternum at the middle of your chest. Hug your belly in towards your back. And really feel as though you could lengthen both the front and the back of your spine, even to your neck and skull. Take a deep breath. Keep your sitting bones heavy towards the surface below, and then begin to extend your chest forward towards your left foot. Pause. Take another breath in. Continue to lengthen front and back of your spine, opening your chest, opening your throat. Exhale. See if you might be able to fold a little more. So just like that, exploring the range of your head to knee pose, or Janu Shirshasana, in which you could maintain the most integrity of your spine, feeling as though you have a flat back rather than a rounded sort of turtle shell. Let's breathe in to any sensations arising here, any part of your body needing a bit more of your love for the next 5 cycles of breath. Continue to firm your belly towards your back. And as you breathe in, start to lift your chest, let the rest of your spine follow to rise. Let's take the strap if you're using it. Extend your right leg forward. Hug the sole of your left foot on the inner side of your right thigh. And then loop the ball of your right foot into the strap, holding it with 2 hands. If you're not using a strap, you can frame your right leg on the floor with your hands. And flexing your right foot as you pull the strap, so there's counter forces in action. Roll the front of your shoulders behind you and down. Press downward to your sitting bones and allow some more lift through the front and back of your spine. Take a deep breath, open your chest. Belly firming in slightly. Exhale, begin to hinge forward from your hips. Pause when you breathe in to invite more length throughout your spine, keeping your pelvis heavy as you fold a little more, breathing out. About 4 more cycles of breath. And firming your belly in, lifting from your chest. With an inhale, slowly rise. Putting your strap aside. Come on down to hands and knees, and we're gonna enter some gentle movements in cat-cow, just stretching the front and back of your spine a bit more, and also helping to roll out the shoulders. So set your hands to the ground, spread your fingers wide and flat. Let your wrists land just beneath your shoulders, but step your knees a couple inches behind your hips as you parallel your shins, your hips width apart. And then on your next inhale, tucking your toes, glide your chest through your upper arms before coiling it up to look towards the sky. Drop your shoulders back and down into cow pose. Now exhaling, release your toes flat, contracting your belly, look down between your knees as you round your back, spreading your shoulder blades apart, cat pose. Then again, inhale, tuck your toes, draw your chest through your upper arms, looking up towards the sky, roll your shoulders down, lift your tailbone. Exhale, relax your toes on the ground, contract your belly, looking down, tuck your tailbone under. Inhale, tuck the toes, opening your chest into cow pose. Exhale, release your toes, contracting your belly to round into cat pose. Take at least 3 more cycles at your own pace of breath. Vidalasana, cat-cow. And then on your next exhalation, lowering your chin to the floor, slide your belly and pelvis to the ground to lie flat, coming all the way down with your legs straight behind you. Slide your right arm wide, open to the right side with a palm face down. And then with your left hand pressing the floor away right beside your left shoulder, begin to slowly roll over onto your right hip, stacking your feet or stepping your left foot on the floor in front of you. Now here you could rest your right ear on the ground, or you could grab one of your blocks or pillows and place it underneath the right side of your skull. Allow a moment to slide your right shoulder blade further down your back so you make some space along the right side of your neck. Now if you're feeling like your inner right shoulder is pretty open, you could use a little more sensation. You can lean further back, perhaps even stepping your left foot behind your right leg or outside of your neck. Let's just take about 3 more deep breaths.
As you exhale, gently unwind back to center to lie face down. Gradually switching sides here, so let your left arm straighten out to the left, palm face down. Press your right hand on the floor outside of your right shoulder. Start to roll over onto your left hip, left side. Either stepping your right foot in front of your left leg or stacking your feet. You might place a prop underneath the left side of your skull. Pause a moment to slide your left shoulder blade further down your back. Open up space along the left side of your neck. And then as you notice, what might be different on the side of your shoulders? Do you need more weight leaning back to feel a deeper sensation? Or do you need less weight leaning forward, laying off of it a bit? Just exploring here for another 3 deep breaths. And then exhaling, roll back to center, pressing back into child's pose, where you bring your feet together, splay your knees apart, and sit back onto your heels, extending your arms forward, resting your forehead on the ground or on top of a pillow. Just here briefly as a transitional pose, about 3 deep breaths. Let your tailbone sink back and down towards your heels as your crown lengthens forward towards the space between your thumbs, and your shoulder blades melt down your back ribs. And you breathe into the sides of your waist from your armpits to your outer hips. And walking your hands back to the outsides of your knees, drop your chin towards your chest. With a slow inhalation, roll your spine upright, slowly stacking 1 vertebra at a time. So grabbing your pillows, I'd like to set us up in a gentle inversion for our final resting pose for Shavasana. So making a platform. Now you might have a piece of furniture like a couch or a bed that you could just simply put your calves on top of as you lie on your back. I don't have that. Or you might have a wall. This isn't a wall, but you could have your legs up against the wall as you lie flat on your back, or with a block under your sacrum. But here I'm making a makeshift couch, just creating the base with the yoga blocks and putting the pillow on top. I'm going to reserve the blanket here to just drape over my body, or you could use a folded blanket so that it's more weighted to place right on top of your pelvis and belly, because that can feel very grounding and soothing to help relax with. Now, if you're creating some piece of furniture like a little couch like this, have the meatiest portion of your calves resting on the widest surface of that. And then let your back lie completely on the ground. Take whatever you need to place on top of your body to feel more at ease, perhaps covering your eyes with a strap. Really bring intention into offering your body comfort and ease so that it can disturb your mind less when we move towards meditation. And once you've found that position, you could lay to rest in. Close your eyes. Take a slow inhale into your stomach. Let it expand up your lungs, backs of your lungs, tops of your lungs. Fill it up. Hold the breath in. Relax your body even more. See if you could sip in a little more air. And into your mouth, completely let it go. All the way to empty. Here, allow your breath to flow on its own, no longer controlling it. Let the bones in your body sink heavily gravitating towards the center of the earth. Feel the support that is beneath your physical body. And with each new breath, allowing your body to relax even more deeply, melting away any ounce of resistance. And as you feel into this deeper state of relaxation, can you allow your presence to still be sharp, to still be attuned to what is here right now? Now we're about to enter 5 minutes of meditation. And this time I invite you to stay in the position you're in, unless you prefer to sit upright. Continuing to soften into relaxation with each new breath as your breath flows naturally. Now our meditation begins, simply observing what arises.
As you breathe in, feeling your breath move within your body. As you breathe out, allow a gentle sound to your mouth, expanding your attention from inner to outer being. Whether you're sitting up or lying down, and feel free to stay longer in Shavasana if you have the time. If you would like to end the practice together, invite to join your palms to meet at your heart, bowing in towards your heart center, an acknowledgement of your own inner wisdom, your own inner teacher, and the teachers that have inspired us to evolve to who we are now. Let's close the practice, joining in one chant of Om. Take a deep breath. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.